So here we are in the second month of 2022. And the theme of the year for Empowering Chats with Susan Burrell is reemergence, coming back out into the world. So just hold that in the back of your mind. This month, the theme is the E in reemergence, and it is envelop. So listen to some of the words that describe envelop: a covering or enclosure, a container, a receptacle, a wrapping, surrounding you. And then there's the phrase that used to be used all the time: stretch the envelope. So stretch the envelope means pushing past established limits, as in technology or social innovation. So that's interesting, envelop. And when my team and I were riffing on what all the different themes would be, monthly themes would be for the word emergence, it's always fascinating when I go back to record a show with one of those themes that's been chosen and really kind of begin to understand why that word resonated for the month. So I'm hearing social innovation and pushing the envelope. So stretching beyond our safeness or our covering. But I also am hearing that it also means removing that covering, like removing the veil. Okay, there's two different things I want to say about that. First one is removing the covering. What are you hiding behind? And again, here we go. We are still currently wearing masks, many of us. And again, that is a way to hide, right? It's yet another way of hiding from others, hiding from yourself, with the idea that it is keeping you safe, right? Having that mask, having that covering. But what if we were to really remove that veil? And I see it as removing the veil in our minds that keeps us in an unconscious existence, that keeps us from really loving ourselves, loving our lives, loving each other. And that veil, once it's on, it does kind of become a wrapping or a container or an enclosure, right? That keeps us stuck, that keeps us in the same old. Now, everybody out there that's listening, I'm sure you're all going, yeah, but the last 3 years haven't been the same old. The last 3 years haven't, been what normal was and all that. But here's the thing about that. The human existence strives to find a way to acclimate to whatever's going on. And by that, I mean, if you're in a place where you are being traumatized in a situation, a relationship or a job where you're being traumatized, at some point you become numb to that. It's just what you exist in. It's the enclosure or container that you've gotten used to. And so like this pandemic has been, or pandemic, as I almost said, it was astonishing, frightening, shocking. And now we've become not complacent, but we're used to this new container we find ourselves in. We are enveloped in it right now. Well, some of us are. I choose to not be. I choose to really push my envelope, to work beyond what society deems as relevant or as safe or as appropriate. Hence social innovation and reemerging. So as we're reemerging into 2022, as we are reemerging into our lives, that doesn't mean reemergence doesn't mean you go back to what was. Reemergence means you come out better. Did you guys hear that? You come out better than when you were covered, than when you were put in that enclosure container wrapper. So this is what I've been focusing on in reemerging. I am choosing this year to really show myself, to really take off that veil, take off my mask, take off the things that have been keeping me hidden from myself and from others. And so I am currently looking at my inner self through my heart wisdom and seeing where I might have still pockets of darkness, even though I've done huge examinations and excavations over the last year. But there's still some pockets of darkness. And what I mean is, by pockets of darkness, I came across this phrase recently. I don't mean things that, like the dark evil side of myself. Ooh. I mean the place where I haven't just investigated. I haven't shined light in there. And what's occurring is these pockets that I'm still having a little bit of shame or fear or whatever. And once I see those pockets, I can then release it. I can let it go. I can take the veil off of my inner eyes, if you will, and look at what I'm finding that might be in a small pocket of darkness, and then look at it, see it. Okay, so like shame came up. God only knows why. Well, I know why, but looking at the shame, not to then shame myself more, but to shine light on it and begin to let go of the shame, integrate whatever learnings I may have needed when I experienced that. And I understand for many people that might be impossible to begin to integrate the learning of having been shamed. But even if you can look at it, that's like Brene Brown says, when you look at shame, it can't hide anywhere anymore. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to share it with others, but you yourself can begin to let it go and integrate what it was that your soul, I'm talking about souls here, people, that the soul learning, the reason why you came here and then had that experience. Now, did you cause it? No, we're not going into that conversation. No, you didn't cause it, but the experience happened for a learning. Just like falling in love, that happened so you could learn about love. Same with the dark pockets. And so then looking at the word envelop, I was choosing it for this to represent this month, this E in reemergence, because I oftentimes feel enveloped by the love of pure spirit. I feel it wrap around me. I feel it moving through me. And I feel comforted by that. So then when I find those dark pockets of shame or fear or anger or whatever it is I uncover, I know that I am still enveloped in this divine, loving presence, because we are all a part of that. We are a part of that divine source energy. We are a part of it, and we contribute to the evolution, not only of humanity, but our soul's evolution. And as we come here to planet Earth to learn, our soul then takes back to that amazing divine I am presence, that source energy that is beyond description. And our personal time here on earth and our soul evolution contributes to the whole, contributes to the all, contributes to the the collective consciousness. And those of us that are still choosing to mask up internally, mask up spiritually, hide behind a veil, not be all of who you can be, you're missing the point. You're just missing the point of why you're here on earth. And during this time has been a huge gift. And I've been the biggest complainer about it, I'll tell you, but it's been a huge gift and opportunity to learn more about yourself, to connect to your divine spark within, to connect to that inner wisdom, that inner trust, that inner intuition, knowingness that really is all part of that divinity that you have always been. You don't have to work for it. You just have to recognize it, accept it, and love yourself more than you ever have. That's it. That's the only reason why we're here. And like I was telling my team, to have some silly ass fun. That's why we're here on planet Earth. So think about how you want to push your envelope, and think about it. Does being enveloped keep you small, or does it give you comfort? But does it give you comfort in a larger sense of feeling just so dearly held by the divine, by the source energy, by that infinite presence? Because then you can expand or push your envelope even more if that's what you're feeling. If you're feeling enclosed or contained, you might want to take a look at that and see where you're stopping yourself. Where are you hiding? Where are you hiding? I have this, my beautiful, amazing spouse a couple years ago gave me a blanket, and it's covered in the word love. Love, 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 love. And it's one of those really sweet, soft blankets that you can just curl up on with a good book on a couch and just wrap yourself in love. And whenever we travel domestically, I bring that blanket with me because it gives me comfort. It reminds me to love myself. It reminds me that someone loves me. And it reminds me that I'm just wrapped in this divine love and light that is always there, as long as I take the veil off and look, as long as I push my envelope and see. So yeah, envelope, envelope, reemergence, 2022. So I've mentioned this before. I am a big fan of Alana Fairchild. And she has a deck of oracle cards called Sacred Rebel cards. And today I pulled one of her cards. You're not going to believe what it is. And it's the first time I've ever pulled this card, ever. And I've had this deck 4 or 5 years. So the card I pulled in talking about all this is called Inner Trust. Inner Trust. I've been working the last few days, my personal spiritual practice has been about surrendering into the divine love, the divine will that envelops me, that lives within me. And as I intentionally put my attention on surrendering into that will that's bigger than me, really amazing things have been unfolding, good stuff. But then I catch those pockets of doubt and pockets of fear and pockets of shame. So, of course, it makes sense to me, because in order to surrender, you really have to trust. You have to trust that you are divine, that you are holy, that you are held, that you are whole. And boy, oh boy, it pushes my little buttons on trust. So here's the affirmation that Alana usually has affirmations at the end of the reading of whatever the card means. And I'm just going to read to you all what the affirmation is as I close out this podcast today. I trust in the love of my heart. I trust in my instincts. I trust in the flow of life. I trust myself. I trust my higher self. I trust in my life. When I don't know, my higher self does know. I am guided by the wise voice of my higher self within my heart. I trust myself and I allow myself to be guided in all things by the wise, instinctive knowing within. I am not afraid to be seen. I unveil myself from my hiding places, and step by step, I show myself with all my unique beauty to the world. I am seen and I am received with love by myself and others. I am worthy. Wow. You might want to play that over and over and over. I find I do that sometimes when I'm feeling challenged by an issue like trust or feeling enveloped by love. Trust in the love of your heart, trust in your instincts, and trust in the flow of your life. You are worthy. And so it is. Namaste.